Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today's video is going to involve these little cuties. Now, can you ever have too many tidbits? I don't think so. So I'm going to show you how I made these, and it's quick and easy, and I think it'd be fun just to, one afternoon, just make a whole bunch and have a great stash for them. I just want to show you how you could use them. So I have one of my pockets from the last video, and I pulled together one of my security stamps that I did for with the alcohol inks. And let's get my blue book here, and a butterfly. So it'd be just as simple to do. Let's take, and I'm gonna move this to the back of this before I go any farther, because I'm not sure if I can line this up properly. I just want to have it be up and over a little bit. There we go. All right, so we're going to put this on here. And I'm going to add a little butterfly right there. So just a quick and easy little tidbit with some texture on it. Not just a simple stamped strip, but a little bit more fun. Cute, I like it. Okay, so let me show you how I made these. All right, so I have a pile of strips here. Tinier the better, we don't want big ones. And they're mostly neutral, ones that you could stamp on, because we are going to obviously stamp on top of them. So you want them a little bit lighter, a little bit less busy, but they can have some texture to it. That is not a problem. So I just got a whole mixture of stuff here. I do have a little box of small ones. These are just my tiniest ones. Some of them are too printy. What I'm going to use is this, and this is a packing tape that I found on Amazon. It is meant for boxes, to close boxes up. It's sticky on one side, and it's a craft paper on the other side. Now, I've tried to stamp on this, and I'm pretty sure it's kind of slick, because it needs to be releasable. I think the inking slid off, but I have used these to glue stuff on. So I'm going to make a snippet strip using this. Now, you don't have to use this kind of stuff. It just makes it a little quicker for me to do it. But you could use just any snippet strip. I know a lot of people use any machine tape, or just even paper that you've cut into strips. Now this is 2 inches wide, and I'm going to cut approximately 10 inches off, just because I want a not a huge piece to start, but and it is sticky. Get my fingers off. There we go. I see a piece stuck to there. We're just going to get rid of that and close it up. This was like, I don't know, $7, $8. I'll link it below. It wasn't too expensive, and as you can see, there's a ton of it on there. Okay, so I'm going to start with a piece at the end, so I got something to kind of hold on to, and I'm going to start with bigger ones, because I can't overlap, and stay, get off my finger, but I'm going to cut this down a little bit shorter. And we're just I'm gonna overlap it a little so I can go back and cut some off. And now I got something to grab. And let's put something on this side. And there we go. All right, so now I got something to grab. And we're just gonna collage in between. And there's really no rhyme or reason for this. I just, I don't want too thick of pieces and too big of pieces. Eventually, we are going to cut this. Oh, I'm a little crooked on the top. We are eventually going to cut this in half, so they're only 1 inch thick. I forgot to add some glue down there. So I don't want to necessarily cover from just like a row on the top and a row on the bottom. I want to do in between kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that on there, and we're just going to add a little bit of glue, And yes, I am covering a part I just covered, but I felt it was a little bit too big. And we've got tiny pieces here that we can go ahead and add to. So it's similar to making a master board where you just put them together, or a snippet strip, all the same kind of stuff. So nothing too earth-shattering there, but yeah, fun. All right, so I'm gonna fast forward this so we can go ahead and I'm gonna have a little bit of a different color here. Fast forward it so you don't have to watch me totally struggle getting this done. Okay, so I have the basics of the strip. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few more pieces, but to see how, what the actual strip looks like versus the stuff with all the wings here, I'm going to cut off the excess so that I can see better where I need to add some more pieces. Oops. All right, keep that. And we'll get rid of this. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to end up cutting this down the center here, but I'm just going to add a few more strips. Now, I like to add these bookend pages to things just because they're kind of a little bit more neutral and a little bit rougher. I like to tear them so they give a little bit more personality. I'm going to put this up here. And again, keeping in mind that I am going to split this up down the center. I'm going to put that down there. And I do this on master boards a lot too, where I'll kind of put something over the overlap just because it looks a little neater that way. I think I'm going to put that there. Finishes it off a little bit. All right, I think I'm going to put one more piece right there. Now I can always add a little bit more after I split this in half if it does not look good enough to me. But for now, I'm going to call this a Strippet Snippet Strippet done. So I'm going to get my cutter and cut this in half. All right, hopefully this is dry enough to go. All right, so this, like I said, was 2 inches, so I'm going to cut in half down to 1 inch. And do my best to cut it down. Not too bad. A little bit gets stuck from the glue. All right, so these are the strips that we're going to stamp. Now, I am not a big fan of this right there, so like I said, I might just put something in there, and I just need something tiny. And I don't mind that, so I think I'm going to put that in there. I'll cut it off at the end. Cover the seam up. Whoops, I dialed my glue down. Get glue to the end. I felt like I didn't. now I think I want a little bit of this. I'm gonna cut the letters off. I think I'm gonna put that there. Now I'm not sure when I go to stamp this if this will be just one place where the stamp will go or it'll be cut between a couple, but I just want to give it a few spots. And I think I'm going to put cover that. I think when I make whatever stamp this is, I think I'll trim the top off of this because I don't like the way it goes. So, and I'm not sure. Yeah, see, I cut them all in half, but I did go through and trim a few that had a little bit of a weird cut or top or bottom. So I did make them, some of them are a little thinner, most of them are about the 1 inch, but I did cut some of them down to make them look a little bit better. And I'll show you when I go to cut this one. Okay, well, I think those are pretty good. All right, now for the stamping part, I did use on the ones I did my VersaFine Clear Fallen Leaves. Any kind of stamping you can do on paper will be fine. I just want something a little bit brighter. Now, for the first one I did, I used just my tidbits for this, but any sort of stamp that has just a skinny little tidbit of a line will work. And I do have my combo, which has my eclectic and my correspondence and my field notes. And I do have little ones in here too that I thought could be fun to use, like that one. And if I wanted to go up and down, I probably could make some up and down ones. Now, if you've got word sentiments, you know, like love, happy, joy, you could do those. But I just have these guys, so let's do a longer one. I'm probably pulling out more than I need, but yeah, we'll start with those. Okay, now, okay, stamping place, and block. All right, so how I did it was, I did, just to save time, make it go a little quicker, I found one of my stamps of choice. I figured out where I wanted to put it, up, down, low. Didn't always center it, but I did one on this one, and then I did one on this one. And I did start from the two ends so that I made sure I didn't want to start in the middle because I didn't want to like lose a spot here. All right, so there's one. All right, let's do perfection and go from there. Now, when I'm doing the next one, I'm going to make sure that I leave enough room so I can cut it to make the tidbit. So I now have a line there and a line there. And I think this one's going to go up on the top. That might be a little bit close, but I think being it not perfection is not a bad thing. All right, so can I do one of these up and downs? This might be a little tall. I will save that to the end if I need to fit something in between. Okay, my fair 1, 2, 3. Let's try that one. And I did the last one. I did start from each end and worked my way in. So let's see if that'll work again. We'll do fair on that end. I just like the squares in there. And I'm going to do that one here because then I can put it in that grid. Okay, there's a little bit of extra room there, but again, these are just snippets. They're easy. They're nothing too hard to write home about. All right, let's do this one next. Now I did do on one of them a double layer, and let me see if I can figure out something to do a double layer after this one. All right, so we're gonna put that, and I did like going over the, so they were on a couple pieces of paper. I thought it kind of added a little bit of fun to it. I'm gonna do this one sideways, only because I can cut that end off and cut it right there. Okay, so a top and a bottom, what do I got? Number, I haven't done the number 120 receipt yet. Okay, let's do this. This is, oops, get off of there. Duplicate set and order 2629. That'll be cute together. This is from that tidbits. I don't want to turn it over because they don't totally stick. And as soon as I turn it over, then I lose a couple. But they're a good height for the, when you put two of them together, they are just under 1 inch, and it's starting to pour. Interesting. As I was working on my sample, the ice cream man came through. And I thought it was kind of interesting because, you know, we all grew up with the ice cream man going down our streets. And this guy was going like the normal speed limit, you know, 30, 25 in the cul-de-sac. He was kind of flying. And I'm thinking, you know, the kids are in the house because they're never playing outside. And they're going to hear the ice cream truck. And they need to take a second to be like, Mom, can I have somebody to get some ice cream kind of deal. And by the time they can talk their mom into giving some money, the guy would be long gone. So I don't know, like, did he want to sell some ice cream? Like, he wasn't going very slow, that's for sure. But I digress. All right, I think I want the order number on the bottom. So I'll flip it upside down, which again, no one knows which way it was set, and I'm going to try to center it between the two here, so that I have room to cut between the two. Oh yeah, I like that one. All right, this one I think can go there. All right, we're gonna put her there. Probably should have had a stamp pad underneath. If your papers are a little bit thicker, sometimes it doesn't stamp completely for it. So if you want to do this, I would probably try to do thinner papers, not really thicker ones. All right, so will this fit in there? That will fit in there. Let's see if we can sneak that guy in there. I don't think I can sneak him in here, but that's okay. The only reason I did them twice, like I said, save time with stamping, and to the fact that even though this perfection is here, oh, I typed it above the same green. Even though that number is there, this one that's here is going to look like totally different stamps because they are on totally different papers. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is cut them. I guess you could keep them together if you wanted to, but then you have to store them longer. If you cut them, you can just put them, you know, in a little container. And we're going to just do our best to cut them, divide them between the two stamps. Now mine's a little sticky when it cuts because I'm cutting through that craft paper that has the sticky. I really like that one. And then we have that one. And there we go. Let's cut this guy. I'm going to try to leave as much on the top as I did on the bottom because he went that direction. That was fun, up and down. And we got duplicate set. And fair, that one's fun. And perfection. Okay, so like with this example, you see how this got that weird little orange on the bottom? It's kind of big. I'm just gonna go ahead and snip that down, make him a little thinner, and now I think he's good. And I kind of, this guy, I'm probably just gonna cut him a little bit shorter. I didn't quite center him, and I could cut that bottom off to make it shorter. I do kind of like that color in there. Now this guy is just on one piece of paper. Am I a fan? Not necessarily, but I think I'm going to get rid of that number for the top because it didn't stamp well. But otherwise, I think on this one, I think I'm going to make this be more on the bottom. Got rid of that little piece. Now this could be done later after, when you go to put it on something, you realize you don't like it as much. It's fine. Now, the only other thing I did on that pile was I did go through and I did nick the corners off, which I like to do. It just makes them look a little bit older. And I did ink them. Now I did that mostly because I did it for video so you could see what they all look like in a finished state. But obviously you could just stick these inside of your container, however you want to store them. And when you go to use them, you could do in finish where you snip the corners if you like to do that and ink them, which is something I like to do. But I mean, look how simple that one looks. It's really just 2 pieces of paper, but you don't know what it's going to be when you're setting it out. And it's a little bit more fancy than if you decided just to stamp on some paper to make little tidbits. Because I have, as you all know, if you watch me long enough, my tidbits. So I have all these already stamped on just plain paper, like the duplicate set here. I have that. But now I have like these. Like how cute. How cute. So much fancier, right? And again, a great way to bust some scraps. Did I bust a lot of scraps? No. But I have quite a few. Out of 20 inches of, well, yeah, 20 inches of Snippets strips tape. Oh, don't throw that away. That's a good piece. Out of 20 inches, look at how many I got. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19, and the one I used, I'm getting 20 pieces out of 20 inches. I love them. I think they're so much fun. Great little way to bust a scrap and to find a way to just, you know, while away a day where the sun is out and it's blue and it's pouring. I love August. So much fun. Okay, well that is going to be it for today's video. If you think you might do this or you have some other ideas on how you would do it, please leave a comment below. I love to hear other people's ideas on how they might take this and run with it, what supplies you might use to make a version of your own. Because that's what I'm here for, just to give you some ideas to make something on your own. I love it. I do truly love them. Okay, well that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for stopping by, and as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.